before ke ndibe ndiyatyatyadula ukuthetha pha ke kubaphulaphuli abasilandelayo pha kwimakhasi onxibelelwano such as uFacebook. They can tell indoba selufikile ke undwendwe lethu esizawuba ke nodliwano ndlebe naye. Before ke baphulaphuli sibe siyaqala udliwano ndlebe, I would just want to give her an opportunity so that she can greet our listeners, and then we can start with the business of the day. Over to you.
Thank you so much for welcoming me to this platform. Molweni kumntu wonke mameleyo. Igama lam Nwabisa Ndingane. I'm born and bred here in Cape Town. Ndikhule eGugulethu, but I live now in Parklands. Yeah.
Wow, siyakwamkela ke enkqubeni Nwabisa kwa Ndingane. I believe ke as you have given us a nice summary of who you are. Andifuna ke ngoku usixelele because abantu abamameleyo have already indicated the topic that you will be addressing today. Ndifuna nje usithi tsuphe about what do you do so that abaphulaphuli babe aware indoba what do you do before ke sibe siyangena kweminye imiba.
Okay. So I am the CEO and founder of a startup company called Uzina Safety. So in the sense, we focus on mental health, counseling, so dealing with the issues such as anxiety, depression, stress, alcohol and drug addiction, anger management, self-esteem issues, anything like that. So London di yenzayo ngokuna.
Wow. Thank you very much for such a nice introduction. And ndifuna ke ngoku take us through when we are talking about mental health. To a person who is hearing this word for the first time, what are we referring to? Okanye, what is it in mental health in Gamagama Pandli?
Okay, so in mental health, it's all about your psychological well-being. So mentally, it's how you deal with difficult situations in life, the quality of your relationships, how you handle stress, everything that has to do with your emotional well-being. And indicators of a good mental health is someone that is positive, that's always optimistic, has self-confidence, and knows how to deal with difficult situations and stresses in life. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned stresses that people sometimes they often struggle with. Ngokunifuna usixelele indoba what could be the things that are causing people to stress, okanye what are the things that are causing abantu not to be able to bakwazi ukuhandlisha difficult situations that they find themselves in. Ndifuna just usixelele what could be the contributors of mental health.
Okay, so I can't be specific. There's a lot of many things that people go through in life. For example, abantu abalahlekelwe yimisebenzi, that could very affect your mental health. Poverty, debt, divorce, grief, especially grief, that I think we can all agree with that. Losing someone can be very difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things like that. Those are major things, but there are other things, but those are major things that can affect your mental health, yes.
Okay, to a person who is listening to you right now, who might be saying, Aish, these are the areas that I am suffering from, and I want to be helped.
Okay.
Do you perhaps have a way of maybe how can this particular person who is struggling with the things that we have mentioned earlier on, anga improve njani, and as well angalfumana kweliphi cala help? Where do I begin? Okanye, let me put it this way. Where do I begin if I find myself, Uguti? These are the things that I'm currently struggling with.
Okay.
But the question is, where do I begin to make sure, Uguti, I survive and as well conquer whatever that I am currently facing?
Okay, so firstly, we'll obviously need to understand what it is facing your problem, right? Understanding what it is that you are dealing with. Okay, and then secondly, once you understand that, understand what are your triggers, what is it that is making you feel this way, and then thirdly would be I would suggest that you speak to someone close. But I know a lot of people, they don't want to speak to someone close in fear of judgment.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes speaking to a stranger, getting counseling, maybe if Gumdo Konzai, speak to someone ekaweni,
Okay.
and that is how you could, first like beginning steps to get help. Yes.
Okay. Then in your scenario, I believe like as you are a CEO, you have dealt with these things before, and if like for instance like when udilishana nabantu yabona as a person, because nyani ke we can't run away of the fact that abantu, they fear to be judged, and they rather speak to a stranger. And then like for instance when befika kuwe, do you recommend maybe a place okanye once befika kuwe there's a certain program, like for instance abanye badla ngothathwa to a tour into, but these are the processes, maybe steps or sessions that we need to have. So
Yeah.
in that case, when they come to you, do you take them through a session, or can do you refer them to elsewhere where they can be helped? What is your position when somebody comes to you and says, I'm struggling with the stress, with the depression and so on? Then what do you do so that abaphulaphuli babe aware?
Okay. So, me personally, I'm not the psychologist.
Okay.
I have people who are counselors.
Okay.
So, would obviously understand first from the inquiry
Okay.
beginning what is the issue, and then would assign them to a specific counselor that can deal with that specific need. But not personally, I deal also on side when it comes to spiritual things.
Okay.
Heavy on is deliverance ministry.
Okay.
So someone will come to me saying, I have this issue, and I'll be able to recognize and say, this is, for example, this is night terrors, and going through, that process with them, understanding what is their triggers, first of all, consecrating them and teaching them the word, how to defeat this, and just helping them getting out of that situation.
Okay. So you are teaching them the word
Yeah.
and helping them to overcome whatever they are
Yes.
dealing with, and also understanding it triggers.
Yeah.
Yabona, now it becomes very interesting because when you are talking the spiritual side, it's something that we cannot ignore.
Yes.
That some of the things that people deal with,
Yes.
it's spiritual.
Yes.
And
yes.
we have to as well, though we are bringing a solution physically, but we cannot ignore the spiritual part of
Yes.
it. I just want Kingoku, you just give us maybe, because sometimes the reason why I'm saying just give us maybe one thing that you could say, this could be a spiritual matter, though, like just even one, like okanye just nje take something that you have done before and say, so that abaphulaphuli can get an understanding, because some abaphulaphuli, they only think ukuthi it's just a mental,
Okay.
but they don't understand ukuthi there is a spiritual aspect of it. So ndifuna just nje, even if it's not too deep, just nje, like an issue such as this could be a trigger of a spiritual of some sort. Yes.
Okay. So one that I can think of, because it's something that I went through,
Okay.
I would say night terrors and not being, I think people call it insomnia. Yeah, that is very much a spiritual issue. People will just say, no, I'm just unable to sleep because of this. No, it is a spiritual issue that
Okay.
needs to be dealt with. You need to understand why there is this spirit, and usually it's not just something that a spirit evele yafika. Sometimes ungafumanekisa ukubana kudala kwi-family ikhona it's a spirit, but it's a, I would say, generational curse, but then it's up to you now to be able to recognize you know, those things and get the help that
Okay.
you need. Yeah.
Okay. So I do get you. And now you've already highlighted the things that people often go through,
Yeah.
and you help them spiritually and as well guide them through the word of God, and where they need a deliverance, then they get their deliverance. Before I let you go, I think you've already highlighted, but I want you now to provide abaphulaphuli with remedies to this situation, so that they can handle them better. And I normally say that to people, it is very important before you can even say something or ugqithise mhlawumbi ngomnye umuntu ukuthi this is how I feel, and I want to speak and address this issue. Will I be maybe doing a right thing, so that you gain wisdom in dealing with? Because I believe in what the Bible says, that there's nothing new under the sun. Because what you are going through, somebody else has gone through.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is to share. While you are sharing, you get a remedy. So ndifuna ke unika wena, then ucho ukuthi what is mhlambi remedies that people can get.
Okay, so when it comes to mental health issues and mental illnesses, for example, anxiety disorder, which is excessive worry, nervousness, hopelessness, like fear, one of the things that I would say is really to get help, because a lot of people suffer in silence, and yeah, that is not good. And you would find people have a community, but they're not really speaking to people in fear of judgment. So the first step I would definitely say is speak to someone. And then if you go somewhere else, they might prescribe you with medication, like anti-anxiety medication, which is also okay. But the first thing would be psychotherapy, speaking to someone. And then for spiritual issues, if you feel like your issue is deeper than just a psychological thing, you know, I would really suggest that you speak to someone in your church. But before you actually speak to someone in your church, first talk to God yourself, because you have that power to speak to God, and you have that power to cast out demons. You have the power of life and death in your tongue. So firstly, speak to God, ask God to help you. But if you feel like, oh, now amandla and and you need help, go to church, speak to your pastor or someone that is close to you, and they'll be able to help you. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speak to someone. Then if maybe you see Guti, there is another step, then it would be to get get a prescribed medication. Then as well speak to God, and then go and speak to someone in your church that might be able to help you in dealing with spiritual matters. Let me allow you then this opportunity for you to do your closing remarks before I let you go. You can do your closing remarks. Then if there's something that you want to share with our listeners as well, you can take this opportunity and share.
Okay. So in closing, I just want to say that people should really take care of their mental health, and also always check up on people around you, especially that person who you will say is the life of the party, the person who's always happy. So you never know what people are going through behind doors. Always in public, just approach, be nice to people. Like I think people just, especially in this society, people forget that. But it's so important to just be kind to someone, because you never know what someone is going through. You never know if maybe they are planning on taking their life and you are the last person that they see, you know. And yeah, that is just what I want to say. Seek counseling, ask someone to help you, and we are available at Zena Safety if you want to check that out, to have affordable counseling sessions. You can email us at info@zinasafety.com. You can WhatsApp us. You can find us on our website as well, zinasafety.com.
Okay, can you please share your number so that if Mpulapule listener is listening to you right now might be saying, this is what I've been looking for all my life. So can you kindly share your number so that they can text you and then you can take it from there?
Okay, so our number is 069 392 2562. So 069 392 2562. And that is Zina Safety's number. And someone will definitely immediately be able to help you on that. Yes.
Okay. Nwabisa, thank you very much for availing yourself to come and speak to our listeners. We are so grateful to have people like you in our show who are able to share information such as this so that our society and so that our listeners can make informed decision in whatever they are going through. Indeed, we empower our listeners educationally and as well when it comes to biblical teaching. We thank you very much.
So much.
And we hope to see you again in future, same time, same place.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, siyakhulula ke ngoku ngayo ingoma kaSiya Jobe esithi You Are. Then we are allowing our guest to leave the studio. And thank you very much to abantu who made it possible indoba sibe naye uNwabisa Ndingane apha e-studio. Kanti ke ngoku masiye baphulaphuli engomeni.
Christian News on 729 Cape Pulpit.
There is radio, and then there is Radio Cape Pulpit on 729 AM.